Well, where are we going to play? Let's go through the map, Vito. Let's find out. Autobahn, Border, and Villa. Coastline taken out by Rogue. Cafe by Reciprocity. So there we go. The new map not going to be played. Consulate as well. So we've got Clubhouse and Bank in here, I think. And it's going to be Clubhouse.
Right. So again, sticking with the trends that we saw earlier in terms of where our map stats are for the season right now, Clubhouse going to remain the most played map, more than likely coming off of that one. And it makes sense. It's a map that I think most teams should be incredibly familiar with at this point and know how to play it to a T. So it's a very safe choice, I think, for both of these teams to go into.
Yeah, it's definitely a really relevant one. What do you think? Who's going to take this win? Of course, really does matter who you think is going to win. Rogue. Okay.
Interesting.
All right, so Rogue getting the edge out, 52% to the 37 from Reciprocity. I'm kind of surprised myself. I mean, Reciprocity is above in points.
Yeah, and you think like Reciprocity kind of has that more like explosive playstyle, and you think more people would see that one coming out on top. But at the end of the day, quite a few people think it's going to draw as well at 11%, and I would honestly say it's a really good possibility for this matchup based on the way these teams play. So we'll have to see, because here we go.
I mean, okay, coming into the second half of the season, I'm looking at the stats right now, and technically speaking, Rogue have actually had a better go of the second half than Reciprocity. You look at this, the first two play days, we had like a Rogue, 2 draws recently. They also managed to get not recently. They drew the first play day, and they lost the second play day, but Reciprocity also lost. And Reciprocity lost the first play day. There's 2 losses in the second half for Reciprocity right now.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how this works out. The first ban coming out, we're going to see Capital removed, which again is by far one of our most banned operators for the attacking side right now. The utility he provides, especially to try and shuffle players outside of areas like CCTV, is well known in this map, so we'll see him removed. Maverick will be the second ban choice there. First one from Rick.
So Maverick was kind of just an expected ban on Clubhouse. You can think a Maestro or a Maverick. Sorry, not a Maestro or a Maverick. A Maestro or an Echo, and then a Mira ban will probably be the last one here. So Echo gone, which means Maestro will likely be in play, and Mira will likely be taken out. I don't see Clubhouse getting played with a Mira by either of these teams.
There you go.
And there she goes.
So, pretty standard bans as far as this map is concerned, pretty much just aligning with the meta trends right now. Nothing out of the ordinary from either team there, yep. So we should expect a pretty standard game in regards to operator lineups as well. As we get into it, Rogue will be starting out on defense, so obviously gives them a little bit of an edge to start things out on here, which they'll have to leverage throughout the first half, and Rec will be jumping onto the attack.
Clubhouse being one of those really heavily defender-sided maps. You know, of course, it's been balanced out a little bit more with the update, and then I also think that a lot of teams are starting to figure it out more, but overall, still one of those kind of heavy anchor strategy maps, and the teams that do bring out roamers on, for example, the basement hole, they're always pioneering something because it's never really truly worked. Now, we are going to be going to the basement, speaking of, for the first round. Rotation set up by Blue and B. Standard stuff so far on the setup. We've got a Castle brought, which could suggest a roaming strategy, along with the Mozzie, Mute, and Vigil. And even the Legion. Honestly, every operator here on the defense, to me, suggests we want to roam. Because you got 2 information denial. You've got the Legion for the information gathering. Actually, 3 information denial if you count the Castle. So it's a heavy investment here for Rogue on having off-site presence, or that's what it appears to be.
Castle actually blocking off, and they're going to leave the hatch open here right on the outside of Church, leading into Memorial there, so that's going to give them a lot more room to fall back and play into it a little bit more, as this hatch gets popped open pretty easily by the attack anyway. It's usually not worth resisting it in most cases, unless you want to bring like a Cade into the lineup to try and trick it, as we can see more and more teams try to do.
Okay, bullet hole set up here from Slash over by the strip club hallway, and that's good information that he'll have, because he can control that entire half of the map now just with that 1 bullet hole. He's also going to be prompted if someone's trying to push him from the wall by pool table or billiards, and because it's a soft wall, they'll have to destroy it. So Team Reciprocity, they're going to have to do some pretty impressive clear here to keep the advantage that they'll have with this control they've gained early from Garage, because it can be fleeting if they don't secure their flank.
And Rec do seem to be aware of the fact that there's a decent amount of presence off-site right now from Rogue. They're definitely trying to, as you can see over there, rest outside of CCTV. They're definitely trying to do a lot of work in clearing that right now, with the focus being on finding the Mozzie as they're trying to drone him out on the inside of construction right now. It does seem that the drone has caught him as Fox8 tries to put a couple shots through the wall right there, but won't actually find any real damage at this point in the round. So still investigating that and trying to get rid of the threat that sits upstairs here.
Threat has persisted for now. Ooh, bad timing there from Slash. He comes off the bullet hole, and he doesn't get the kill. Though, it did look like Laxing was aware of it. He did come around the corner with a pre-fire, so I'm assuming that Slash is just trying to play it safe. And it actually has worked out so far. We're looking at about half the round spent here from Reciprocity trying to clear out roamers, and they're actually going to lose one to Vertical, who had dropped through the connector drop down to the bar. That's the right play from him. Mark coming close to death as well, and he will be the second victim as Eclipse puts Rogue in a great spot.
Right now, Rogue doing perfect work, I should say, on this roaming, constantly keeping Rec guessing as to where they could be popping up next. And obviously, with 2 kills going in their favor, there's not much of a point in trying to keep these players extended outwards, besides maybe 1 or 2 of them for much longer. So you're going to start to see a large percentage of the defensive roster start to fall back into the site for this last minute now that's on the clock. And meanwhile, Rec still trying to deal with some of these like castle barricades that's upstairs right now. They need to move quickly to get towards the site, and you have to ask the question, are they really going to be able to set up for much at this point, considering the limited positioning and obviously manpower that they're working with?
Well, we know, because we can see all the defenders, that they have fallen back to site. But Team Reciprocity is still trying to determine whether or not there's anyone above them, next to them, and whether or not they're going to have to worry about their flank. I think it's been determined at this point that even if there is, well, we don't have time to worry about it. So Reciprocity are going to be going for their site take. 1 Excaros there used on the bar. He doesn't have any more, so he can't do any more with that gadget. And we'll see Skies even die to Slash, who goes for an aggressive peek through that very breach. Slash going to the hallway will get shut down, but that's the only kill so far for Reciprocity, and it's just Laxing. He can't make anything happen. Rogue will take the first round, and that is one of the most well-thought-out roam strategies I've seen on Clubhouse Basement.
Yeah, by far, Rogue doing fantastic work. We see a lot of teams on that site kind of take the opposite approach, where they're a lot more conservative about it. They, in fact, oftentimes we'll see teams just keep 5 players in the site and, throw away the roaming potential entirely on that site. But we see almost the exact opposite approach taken by the guys on Rogue. A lot of presence upstairs there in construction, constantly keeping the attackers guessing, and also really good, weighted aggression too. They pulled it back when they needed to. They didn't overexpose themselves and allow for Rec to trade those kills out. So Rec had to play that incredibly carefully, which is obviously not necessarily their playstyle. And at the end of the day, it just made them, I think, really uncomfortable playing into pretty much every angle that they were trying to push for on that round.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about there for Reciprocity. And it can be uncomfortable, especially on a map like Clubhouse, and especially for, like you suggest, a team like Reciprocity. So definitely struggling with that. Rogue, good calculation there. I like that they, leaned into what they thought might be an advantage in that strategy, even though it is a risky blunder for most plays, most teams. They make the mistake of trying to roam up there, and it costs them. Not so for Rogue. I don't know if they're going to do it consistently. It's probable that moving forward in this first half, Rogue will probably do, like a anchor strategy, something more typical. But the fact that they've brought out that strategy even 1 round and it's seen success is definitely a really big boon for them in the first half. Now, moving forward from that, are they going to have anything crazy for us on Cash? Because, there's not a whole lot of strat variance on Cash usually, for the defenders, that is, unless you're bringing, like, Amira, for example, which can often totally change how you defend that site. For the most part, I think I expect Rogue to be a little bit more typical on the rest of these sites, and that'll give, I think, Reciprocity a decent chance at taking some attacking rounds, and even if they only take 2.
Yeah, and more than likely we'll still get a second chance to attack against that same strategy once again. And the important thing to note is, even though Rec do get brought down to basically a situation where they don't have the time to execute, that's still something that they can pull out a win from, actually, because if we look back to the last match they played on Border, that was happening quite a bit there as well, and they were still able to come out on top of quite a few rounds in that matchup, despite the fact that they were executing with only like 10 seconds left on the clock. They're really good at picking up kills and under like a very stressful situation and whatnot, so I wouldn't necessarily say Rec is out of those rounds, from this point forward.
Yeah, definitely not. They did lose that one, but against SSG, Reciprocity, they managed to get 3 rounds, but those 3 rounds that you're talking about, they were pretty impressive. And it really, they kind of screamed Reciprocity, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
If they can show us more of that, of their own, just their pure gameplay, what we saw from Reciprocity in the first half, if we could see more of that, I think they're going to see a lot more success overall. Because again, I'll remind you guys, in this second half so far, Reciprocity have 2 losses. And that's not a great record for them. Granted, they played against Evil Geniuses, who, as we were talking about in the pre-show, are on fire. And they also played against SSG, who have, their moments where they just cannot be stopped. But still, I mean, Reciprocity, you would expect them to be doing better in the second half right now.
Yeah, by far. But it's not the case. So Rec is definitely still looking to kind of patch these things up and improve their own performance as we head later on into the season here, and they try to go for the best placing possible. And we're going to see if they can do that throughout the course of the rest of this match. Rogue, though, with a really good start, a really nice strat to play into the basement as well. As Kix was saying, though, it's going to be hard to try and do anything like that on the other upstairs sites, which they'll more than likely play into, because I highly doubt we're going to get a bar round out of them.
Probably not.
So yeah, you should expect pretty straightforward play on the next 2 sites, and obviously that's going to bring in some more possibility, I think, for Rec to try and kind of pick up some response rounds here.
Well, before we get to that, we've got a nice juicy 3-minute break for you guys. We'll see you after that. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. First round done. Second round getting started. And we're going to be going to Cash for Rogue's next defense. They managed to win the first one in the basement off of a very nice roam upstairs. And, you know, that doesn't really happen very often. So let's see if Rogue will show us something different and crazy for this defensive site as well.
If not, that we should expect pretty much the same layout that we usually see for defensive teams on this one. Obviously,
probably.
That main wall will get reinforced. We'll have the other one in construction get reinforced. You'll see, yep, they've already got the middle wall done in cash room there. One player should go out to play into the catwalk area up on top, more than likely, as we're going to see they'll reinforce the garages down there as usual too.
Yeah, it's all standard stuff here. Pretty much all the bases covered on the actual site. And then you'll see Rogue probably like, what, they're going to get a roam in the catwalk, if you even call it that. Maybe somebody roaming on the west side for delay tactics if they really want to be adventurous. Maybe that's going to be Slash, though I find that unlikely. I mean, this is the Kai who's here. He's probably just doing something for his teammate in all likelihood, yeah. He's just going to set up some barricades on the west side. Now, that actually means that the Vigil, who is currently roaming by the bar, is unlikely to be rotating through that.
So he's going to have to find a different path to take here. He does open up a small hole to try and fire in those stocks, but that's against the usual aggressive push that we see from the attackers right off the bat to go in there, so we won't have that. And overall, Rec just taking things pretty slow here to start things off. We're going to see them get into position outside of that wall, start to poke into garage just slightly here, but won't make any serious moves just yet, as the main focus will be on getting that wall open, leading in from balcony. Mark, though, finds a nice shot there on the buck to find Eclipse early on.
There you go, Eclipse off the board. That's really good because he was the X Factor. You know, he was the one off-site, ready to flank whenever is necessary. Him not being there anymore is going to make the defense a little bit more difficult in that they don't have any saving grace that's in Eclipse coming back. So Reciprocity giving themselves an edge early on. They don't have a Maverick, so what they're going to try and do is from below deny the Bandit tricking using the Ash Charge. And that'll do a lot of damage to the Bandit himself, Shuttle, who is going to have to rethink his position, which will allow the wall to be opened up very easily. I gotta say, I am impressed by the adaptation here by Team Reciprocity. They managed to deal with the lack of a Maverick in just a perfect way, and that they come underneath, and they do it in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, getting the wall open still with about 2 minutes left on the clock. There's giving Rec a whole lot of time to set up the rest of their execute, including Retro using the second charge to open up the garage and allow for Rec to start lurking in there and hopefully clearing out Rogue's defender on the inside. For Rogue themselves, Slash going to try to get up on top of the table, but takes far too much damage. He won't get confirmed just yet, but he does get knocked.
That is such a long angle play from Laxing, and it pushes Slash onto 20 HP. He's in a much less comfortable position. Of course, he does have that shotgun that can do a lot of damage really fast, but still not great. And as the player on the catwalk goes down, that's easily. It's looking even worse for Rogue as they lose player after player. Vertical, the last player with HP, is going to be down in Lounge. Shuttle will get one on 50. He's definitely close to death. Vertical gets another one there on the staircase. That's his first, but Rogue are starting to fight back. It's not looking over for the defense just yet, despite the fact that Reciprocity have a decent amount of time and a strong HP advantage.
Yeah, Rogue right now just trying to hold on to the small semblance of the site that they still control. Rec, though, getting into position to push this relatively soon. Vert really taking a duel right there. He's going to end up moving away from it, but Laxing will beat him on the rotation, take him at the door, and knock a Vertical out of this, giving Rec the advantage once again and bringing us down into a 3 versus 2. Time is starting to get very low, though. That's okay for Rec. They're just making doubly sure that they have this cleared out before they commit to the push. C4 going to get tossed out, though. Running away. She actually avoids going down. Shuttle going to try to still win the fight, but no. Skies comes out on top of it instead. We end up in a 3v1 situation. Slash trying to clutch this. He does down the planter, and there's no time left. So Rogue are going to steal this round right out of Reciprocity's hands.
Oh my gosh, Slash, the impact down. That just doesn't happen very often. You don't see that. He had impacts, but he still managed to clutch it. The immediate thought I had was, okay, if this Kaid has a C4, he can deny the plant too. He didn't. I thought, round over, bummer. But he used impacts and he made it work. That just, oh, what a play there. And yeah, it's so rare to see that happen. I think it was Laxing who really gave Reciprocity the edge there, but he just couldn't see the round out.
Real heads up play, because again, they probably knew they already had a good amount of damage on the Haban at that point from the C4 that was tossed in. That almost killed him, almost killed Skies, I should say, but I think just missed its mark. So Skies ended up with just a little bit of HP left over, therefore allowing for the impact to finish him off. Just a nice little angle that landed right next to him. Down he goes, and there goes the clutch from Rogue to keep their record flawless right now at 2-0.
They really shouldn't have won that round, to be honest.
Rec did a great job of clearing out, especially the site players and any of the real dangerous roaming presence that would have been around it. They cleared out exactly what they needed, basically, in order to take the site, but even then, that wasn't enough, unfortunately.
So, a clutch from Slash. I thought Shuttle was going to cost them the round for a second there when he didn't land a C4. Well, the C4 didn't land, which is fine. That's because the Habana moved, but then he couldn't land a follow-up shot. I thought that was going to be it. Done. But just impressive play from Slash. And Rogue, yeah, I mean, clutch, sure, but it's still a round win. As many rounds as they can get on defense is really the idea on Clubhouse every single time. If you can end, again, comfortable space, defensive half, you get 4 rounds. That's like, okay, we did a good job. We let a little bit through, but we managed to win on our standard sites. That's usually like with teams that can't win on their third, which is Jim in this case for Rogue. You'll see that 4-2 split. But if they drop any more than 2, Rogue are in a tricky spot. So they really don't want to let that happen. Reciprocity opening up a lot of the castle barricades, getting some information here in the site by throwing in flashes. This is going to say, hey, there's no ADSs in this position, and they can open up another castle barricade, which will make it so they can deny the Kaiyud tricking on the jacuzzi wall, which makes it so Retro can, well, you know, open that wall.
And so 2 minutes left here, we're going to start to see Reckon in a position to pop that wall open relatively soon and then start working inwards into the site. You can see them still trying to line up angles in order to push in from the construction side, more importantly, cache and CCTV side as well. As Vert there getting into a small engagement himself, but able to find much out of it just yet. Mark, in the meanwhile, though, has pushed to the inside of Garage with one more teammate, and they're going to start to pinch from this direction.
Okay, so we do have roamers playing in cache. It's not always the case, and this time for Rogue, it is a hard hold in cache, along with the cache stairs. Vertical trying to support Shuttle here, and he's got a great gun, great position to do it. Oh, could be a free kill on the buck, and it will be. That's because Reciprocity didn't drone the staircase. That's on them. Not enough assertive information gathering there, and they'll lose the buck and a set of nades for their troubles.
They did have players in position a second ago to try to push Vert from downstairs, but it doesn't look like that's really the case any longer, so this is a really tough situation. Finally, they'll drone him out, so a bit late on that one, of course, but at least getting the reconfirmation that he did not fall back after picking up the kill, and the same is going to be true of the player in cache. So have a good read on the situation. They are rotating Laxing in a position to try and deal with Vertical sitting on those stairs, but again, time is going to start to become an issue, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal for Rex specifically. The wraparound, nicely played by Foxay, moves in to find Shuttle, can't get the second one though, and Slash pushes in from construction to take Foxay out.
Now, that was very nicely played from Foxay. He had options there. He went for the safest play, and it worked out for him. But Slash, also well played. On the refrag, not letting cache control go away. If he hadn't done that, we would have been seeing probably a round advantage for Reciprocity, but he's going to get his second and his third as he takes down Skies. Laxing now, the last attacker. Nice shot there onto Vertical, who goes down without doing any damage. But he's only got 20 seconds left. Playing close up on this construction door Slash with a shotgun out. Laxing's got to go for the pre-fire. He doesn't have the information, though, and he will be dispatched by a single blast. Slash Hug, a 4K to win that round.
Another incredibly solid hold from Rogue coming out at the end of the day. And Rec, unfortunately, not being able to drone things out slows down the process for them incredibly in trying to push through, clearing out cache and CCTV, and as well as enabling the rest of their push to go through into the site itself, along with just a lot of trades that didn't go their way. Gives Rogue control here and allows them to complete the full rotation of sites without dropping a single round.
Some big rounds from Slash, 2 in a row there. The clutch there on the time in the second, in that third, a 4K. I mean, he's really holding up those last 2 ones, and Reciprocity are coming very close to winning these. I gotta give credit to Foxay. His entry there was impeccable. He could have decided to try and flash the Kaiyud, but that would have given away his intention. Instead, after his first flash, he waited, and then snuck in using his crouch walking advantage. And you can see the scoreboard, and this is post one rehost, so keep that in mind. 1 round, the first one, did play out without the stats being saved on the scoreboard, so a little bit missing, but not that much.
And overall, there's still a very impressive game right now from Rogue. We'll see once again, the strategy is actually going to change up quite drastically for Rogue this time. As you can see, they're actually going to reinforce Memorial Hatch this time around here. And more than likely, everything else is going to be played, I think, a bit more to what you kind of expect on this one. But still, a lot of kind of light, roaming-focused operators on the team here. So there's still going to be a bit of that presence. I think just not as much of an emphasis on it as we saw back in round number 1 for Rogue.
Okay. So, yeah, I agree with your assessment. Definitely going to have some kind of offside presence, but with no castle, it limits your options in terms of bar, and it's more likely they're going to be trying to roam top floor and be as elusive as possible for as long as possible. Now, I have full confidence that Reciprocity are going to be pretty decent at droning out any roamers on the top floor, so you can expect that to be their priority early on. But if Rogue can delay for, I don't know, a minute, even if it costs them a player, that's a decent chunk there. And Vert is trying his best to hold on to the garage. He's actually got support from Shuttle, who's playing by Lounge. But Mark might be able to pinch here from the server wall, which would actually be the death of Vert. But okay, Vertical's just going to peek out the garage door and die to Foxay.
So Foxay gets a relatively easy kill right there to start things out as he was trying to take down Mark up on top, but didn't realize Foxay was still there, ready to take the fight already. So an easy advantage goes over to Reciprocity to start this round off in their favor. Having cleared out that presence, they, after a few seconds of droning here, are pretty much going to be clear to go for the site at this point forward, as that deals with most of the threat that they would have had to deal with.
So that really isn't a worth it roam for the Jaeger either. I'd say he maybe wasted 20 seconds, but that's, again, yeah, that's not enough time to justify the expense. And I think we've seen all of the Rogue players fall back to site now at this point. Yep. Not really curious to try and hold on to anything off site. Yeah, there's the Vigil back. So with Vertical gone, Rogue will just be playing nice and safe and snug as you would do on a basement defense. This time they've reinforced the drop downs because it is a totally regular hold here. That was the fake out just to see if there's a Kaid. There is not, so the exothermic will be stuck the second time around.
We do have a Bandit who was in position, I believe, down the tunnel a few seconds ago to try and trick, but he's more than likely going to move back here now as well. And there he is, sitting closer to the inside of the site, waiting for the eventual push to come out here from Rec, which is going to be coming soon. You can see Laxing probably going to drop down, actually just setting up the Claymore towards Oil Pit. We'll probably head over towards Blue and join up with the rest of the team here relatively soon, as they are going to go for that split push here as we're getting close to the end of the round. Still trying to get Kitchen Hatch open, though. If this fails for whatever reason, this could be really bad news for Rec going into the late round.
It can easily fail, too. The first impact will come out. Sounds like it was successful in denying at least a set of Excaros. No more impacts on Shuttle. He'll be downed and actually finished off by Fox, who gets a second. The down, I believe, was from Mark above. Well, either way, it was Fox to secure it, who was in the right position at the right time. Lack of reinforcements on the Arsenal wall is going to give a great entry spot to the Ash. Slack trying to get aggressive. He knows he has control of the dirt tunnel, and he could easily do some damage if he goes for a flank, but he's needed in sight. So he'll come back, sees one cross into blue, but through the wall will take down Laxing. Beautiful shot, easily adds to the tally for Rogue as Retro goes down in Moto. It's just the Arsenal take now. But as Skies manages to get one, he's also going to start his plant. Easily with Whitebeak, who dies to Foxay on his third there, and he'll get a fourth to end out the round. If Slash can get 4Ks, so can Foxay.
Foxay specifically doing great work in that round there, being able to take the position down over here right at the edge of 90 and start to secure openings for his team. That, along with, as you mentioned, the lack of reinforcements and being able to eventually get access to that site, allowed for Reciprocity to finally have the control they needed to, one, get a plant onto the ground here, not that it was necessarily needed to close out the round, and two, finally restrict Rogue enough to where they can shut down their hold. So that'll be the first round going up onto the board for Reciprocity. Rogue still in a dominant lead, though, with 3-1 at this point as we head into the last 2 rounds of the half.
I might even expect a 6-pick into the castle, but it's not a guarantee. Rogue, their anchor strategy did not work as well as their roaming strategy.
It's actually going to be 6 picks to Maestro.
So not necessarily going to be a roam this time. They just apparently want to have some off-site information. I'm guessing one of those Maestros is going to go inside of Arsenal. Actually, interestingly, we don't see Maestro be the most influential when it comes to the plant on this site. He's usually used to control lanes, so we'll see a lot of Evil Eyes in blue, for example. So you control New Blue and Oil Pit. We'll see Evil Eyes put in the hallway, as you're seeing Slash do right now. It's mostly just on information gathering for the pushes. And Valkyrie hasn't been a staple for Rogue so far. That's a really interesting Evil Eye. So that will actually be able to call information on all of the blue, I think both of the blue lanes, both New Blue and Oil Pit, as well as Moto. So that's a really efficient Evil Eye, but it's also very exposed.
Very easy to take down with just a 1 Ash charge or something similar to that. So Rek will more than likely get rid of that relatively quickly, but obviously if it goes unnoticed, the intel capability from that one is going to be huge. Let's see those record out onto the board, and we'll start their push once again against this basement hole.
Foxay's been playing on Ash, and he's been doing a great job at putting pressure on his opponent. Just always in the right place at the right time to be able to rack up the kills. He had a great round last time. It was 4 kills for him on the board. One of them heavily assisted, but still. And it doesn't look like there's going to be anyone for him to take out early on in this round. It's actually a pure and simple anchor on the site. No risks at all. So Rogue saw that last round as a failure, certainly, but I don't think they're critiquing necessarily the strategy as much as they are the lack of success on the half roam that they had by Garage, and they're just going to do away with that instead of adapting into their heavy roam strategy that they were doing in the first defensive round of the basement.
So potentially with that roam strategy already being sort of revealed to Rek and them possibly fearing it would get easily countered out on a second run, they are just going to go back to, as you were mentioning, that standard anchor play that Rek are now having to deal with in terms of getting rid of these hatches and whatnot. Still with about 2 minutes left to go, though, before really going to be pressured to start going into the site, as we've often seen with Rek. They have no issues at all executing in a low-time situation, so yeah, they're going to take their time with making sure they get everything open that they need.
Yeah, I love this fake out from Retro. It's really smart for him to fake out for the Electric Claw. Of course, when you plant the first time, you prompt the people below you that you're planting an exothermic. So you take it off, or just stop it at the last second. That way, the Electric Claw, if it comes out, will be heard. There's not been a Kaid getting played very much by Rogue. They were playing him earlier, but they just, these last 2 rounds, haven't decided to bring him on this defense. A really precise C4 set up from Eclipse. He's waiting for an opportunity. Somebody at the bottom of metal stairs. Habana is currently there. So this would be the opportunity if he had the information. Ooh, but he decides not to stick it. Instead, going to bandit trick the wall. That's the right call, because that'll deny just a little bit longer.
He is once again, though, ready to throw that C4 in a moment's notice, should they try to breach open the wall once more, which may be happening here over the next few seconds. You can see Rek right around the corner. Once again, Foxy taking the 90 angle here, trying to get his team prepped to push in as they try to knock out the hatch in Arsenal, which should have been done already, considering he's clear at the walls, so I doubt anyone will be able to hold a position to trick that. And you can see how much Rogue has been restricted on the inside of Arsenal, too. 2 players in the back of the tunnel.
That was a free Evil Eye there for Foxay on the hallway. It was zapping something, and he gave it away. Skies is also going to take down a shuttle, but look at the time, guys. 20 seconds, and Rogue need but wait this out. Already doing that. Great job. Easily using his gas canisters to delay. Eclipse here to refrag easily as he goes for an aggressive play. He's got control of the hallway, but it's Arsenal on the plant, and oh no, Slash can't stop that plant. Skies is being well covered by his teammates. Easily gets 1 on the bottom main stairs, but he can't get anywhere from there. Eclipse will down the planter, but he's got to find 2 more. Pistol out, and he can't even get the player deep in Arsenal. That's laxing. Mark from above knows that he's going to have to hold this hallway as he can hear the metal stairs being plunked away at by Eclipse. Low HP here. He'll die to a single bullet. Pre-aim by the Buck. It's a freebie, and there you go. Reciprocity with some great plant coverage, and they will take another round.
And just too much control over that site overall, though. You could see how much Rogue had been restricted at that point after they got the hatch open, and as well, once Foxy was in position there towards the edge of the main hallway, had those 2 walls popped open for himself, just no room on the inside of that site for Rogue to try and play into and resist the plan, or even really set up a retake the second they try to push in as well. They're dealing with top-down angles, which just never goes the way of the player that's on the bottom of that angle. So Rek shut it down in a post-plant and find a way to get back into this now, 2-3.
Okay, so Rogue have read into this, and they've decided that the problem is the bomb site. So they're going to be going to cache. Now, I gotta say, that cache win was the closest round that Rogue had in the success column, by far and away. So I don't know if this is the play for Rogue, but they are clearly not comfortable with their basement defense. And rightfully so. The way that Reciprocity are executing onto that basement, where they isolate the Arsenal, open up the wall, I don't think Rogue are well set up to counter that. I mean, if it were a situation where Rogue had all the information, maybe they'd be like, okay, well, maybe we just reinforce the Arsenal wall instead of 2 blue walls, and that way they can't make that same attack strategy, because they can't come in from main stairs and plant. They have to drop, and we can cut them off in that drop. But they're not going to do that. They're just going to try something else. And this is the last defensive round for Rogue. So, well, this is their last try to get a 4-2 split. If this ends 3-3, then Reciprocity are in a very happy place.
It's interesting that Rogue actually don't go for the, and you were mentioning this kind of too, that how they don't, because the round they won here was so close, so you'd think they would go for Jim, considering that should be unlocked for the final round here now. But yeah, they're going to go back into cash once again, despite, you know, just like the fact that they won it off of a very close impact trick, basically, to stop a plant.
I'm assuming they're just chalking that up to just happenstance and that they feel confident on this site on a personal level, on a team level as well. But, you know, it has to do with your opponents as much as it has to do with you. Foxy has been so good at putting himself in a position to get kills where the enemy just doesn't notice him. But that right there, that moment, he missed an opportunity to get a pick onto the Bandit, who rotated back up the stairs. Or not the Bandit, I believe it was actually vertical. First kill, though, goes on to Mark, and it's from Slash through a hole in the floor that he seems to have pre-placed. Or pre-prepared, I should say.
So taking him out, we are starting to see Reckon in a position to once again pop up on the floor. You can see Shuttle taking a lot of damage from that, but he is still in position. So put down those batteries once again. Wait for the eventual push to come in on the balcony itself. He's Wreck, as far as I can tell, is not in position to execute upon that right now over there on main balcony. So still waiting it out, still trying to keep the Bandit in position, but obviously that's going to prove very hard with the huge hole in the floor.
Yeah, Foxy is going to be denying the Bandit tricking hard now. He's holding the angle. He did a lot of damage to that Bandit already. But he sees his angle's a little bit too shallow on the actual wall, so he used another one to be sure. And also, I think there was a battery placed by Shuttle after the first dash charge, so that had to be done away with. Now, the wall open, Reciprocity are going to be shifting to Workshop. That's because they want to get both open if possible, so they have a better chance of the overall take. Either that or they're just going to be coming in through Garage. They've got two choices. You know, Workshop is going to be a little bit more time-consuming, but would give them more options overall. They also run the risk of exposing themselves to roamers, though, so that is risky business. Sky is going to be clearing the ADS there. Evil Eye dispatched as well. That's a lot of Evil Eyes we've seen easily give away over these last two rounds. And as Easily dies in Garage and Skies gets a run out from Eclipse, it's Team Reciprocity in a steady lead. The only problem, only 30 seconds left to make that plant happen.
It's a nice read from Skies to pick up his first kill here and now. As you mentioned, time getting incredibly low. Wreck really with no additional time. They have to push on this man advantage that they now have. Getting to the same point before. They had a very similar situation play out here, but at the end of the day, Rogue was still able to hold it because of the lack of time. And we're going to go. First plant attempt going down now. Shouldn't really have any way from the defense to try and stop that, but they are going to jump off of it as there is one C4 that gets chucked in. Won't find any frags this time, though. Slash peeks directly into a two-man play, and Foxy will be able to take him out. Still no attempt at the overall plant, though they need to get it onto the ground right now. Oh, Skies just manages to land it. Not only that, but they've got it down to a 4v1. Vertical surrounded from all directions, trying to push through that tiny hole, but it won't work out. Wreck close out and tie us up at 3-3 at halftime.
Absolutely nailed it there for Team Reciprocity, and a 3-3 half is really, again, it's a great place to be for the attackers on Clubhouse. So here we go. Reciprocity in a solid lead, despite the round count being similar as, the same, as now they go on to the second half. They get to defend. They'll be going in the basement to start us off. And that is pretty typical. I mean, it's what we saw Rogue do as well. I don't expect there to be any crazy roaming strategies or anything like that. Not like what we saw from Rogue in the first half, but it's possible.
Quick little fun fact about Rogue's play in that last half there. That was actually like the least successful basement rounds that they've like had in months, believe it or not. Yeah, because they've only dropped that site twice in the last couple of months, and they just doubled that in that last one there by dropping it 2 more times. Also, they've only allowed opponents to plant on them 1 time in recent history, and again, that also just got tripled because that goes up to 3 now with the 2 plants that I think Rec got there.
That's pretty rough there for Rogue, certainly, in the broad statistical kind of sense.
I guess it does justify why they tried it a second time, even though Rec had great control over the Arsenal, and they just, again, repeated that same strategy the second time going into it. But yeah, Rogue, unfortunately, just running into some bad luck with their basement play. I
gotta be honest, I mean, there's some things that Rogue could have done, too, to fix that basement hold. Like, for example, reinforcing the Arsenal walls instead of the blue walls. Because, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Reciprocity, oddly, did not use blue at all for their basement attacks. They were ignoring blue for the most part. They came, I think they had 1 late flank with Laxing coming in there. Where he had a moment where he came in, but Slash managed to kill him from Dirt Tunnel. That was in one of those rounds, but that's just a late flank. That's not like a, hey, we're using this as part of our push. The entirety of the focus from Reciprocity on attack basement was on Arsenal.
The only other thing they did with blue is open the hatch consistently, and then even that, it was really only used like in an early and mid-round to just try and watch and see if they would get lucky catching anyone peeking there early on. But besides that, yeah, as you were mentioning, not any actual play through it in the execute, which is very odd. Just
Arsenal and Moto, and it worked out for them. Rogue just were not prepared for that. The stack was correct. Usually there's 3 different pressure points on the basement. Reciprocity pressed the right ones, and Rogue were not prepared. Now, moving on to the second half, Rogue are going to now have to do a similar attack, or they're going to have to attack on the same site. Whether or not it's the same way is up to them. They're going to be starting with some skeleton keys from above, trying to get some angles into Arsenal. That'll also be trying to fake out those C4s as well if possible. There is a pulse in play, so C4 from below is going to be a serious threat for Rogue. Ooh, I like the way they opened up that wall entirely, allowing the pulse freedom of movement. Not everyone does that. The C4 actually would not land as the buck is outside of Freezer.
Doesn't even have a scan on it right now, so obviously won't be going through with that C4 toss at this point in time. Might be able to find it over the next couple seconds, though, as they move back in, but Mark has also changed position. He's gone back behind the bar on the inside of Church site. He's going to continue to kind of wait this out, I think, playing to that angle instead now that time has gone down a lot more.
Well, Slash has opened up all the drop. Well, actually, no, it wasn't Slash. It was the exothermic charge to open up the bar drop down, which means that only one other thing could have been opened up because Slash has all 3 of his Excaros, so he can do a lot of work in this round if he plays his cards right. Easily looks like he wants to pressure onto blue. Clip's going to be throwing down an EMP to clear out Legion traps and Evil Eyes if they're there. And Mark will get the first C4. That's Slash who goes down. That was the C4 that we saw Eclipse try to use, but never actually throw. He didn't seize his opportunity, but here it will be seized upon by Reciprocity, and with Slash gone, that's all of the hard destruction now that easily is also eliminated as he tries to push blue. But he had already used his exothermic, so that's not the end of the world. However, Rogue are, in terms of manpower, time, and hard destruction, in a bad spot.
Stun is going to connect onto the player playing behind the electrical unit inside of blue. Not going to push them out of position, though. Still holding that right now. And again, time is once more going to become an issue for our attacking squad. 3v5, 15 seconds left. Trying to chuck a nade behind blue, but it won't be met with any success here. Now, Vert does catch the goo mine toss, but he knows he's got another player to worry about. Back down by the tunnel. Will find that. Retro will trade it, but Vertical trades it right back once again. As now Skies picks up the next kill. Foxay closes it out, and Reciprocity win their first successful defensive round here on Basement.
Good job to Reciprocity there. All right, so they've taken the lead for the first time in this match, and it's off the backs of 4 rounds in a row. That is impressive. Oh, it doesn't seem like Rogue have much to say about it, much to do to stop it. That round was an attempted blue and Moto pinch onto Church site, which is a more typical in-meta attack strategy right now. I couldn't get the Church wall open, of course, because they lost the Habana, who is attempting to do just that. So he was C4 to the bottom of the main stairs, and following that, Rogue also lost the Thermite, who was trying to push blue, and at that point, I mean, the round was pretty much over. Reciprocity just needed to wait it out, and that's exactly what they did. They waited for the rest of Rogue to push into the bottlenecks and get torn asunder by just, you know, some easy shots, to be honest. Now it'll be a cash defense for them as they go to their secondary site.
Very streaky game so far here from both teams. Rogue winning the first 3 rounds in a row, and now Reciprocity responding with 4 in their own regard here. Going to try to make it 5 on this one if they can close out on the cash and CCTV defense. But of course, Rogue will look to try and stop that, needing to try and pick up some rounds here now, because they're going to start to fall behind very quickly. And if Reciprocity completes their full rotation, well, we're already at match point at that point. So Rogue need to start seeing some stuff out of them this round.
So will, it appears, be a roam on the west side here for Reciprocity, as they are setting up a lot of information, reinforcements, and just general comfort, you know, murder holes, reinforcements, information with the Valkyrie cams, and I guess 3 people right now. It's kind of a heavy stack here. You don't usually see a west side hold be so invested, but you can make it work. It's not the end of the world.
So we're going to see how this plays out for Rec. Right now, Rogue not playing into that too much. They're already dealing with one of the Valkyrie cameras that was tossed outside onto the roof, as that was knocked out relatively quickly. The rest of the team for Rogue is focused mainly on just the site push, as far as you can tell, as well as getting into garage through those normal methods here. Easily won't thankfully dodge the pest in that situation, swinging through the already open panel inside of the garage and just hide that drone in the corner for use later.
Well, there is a bandit on the wall, so Rogue are going to have to deal with that. The way we saw Reciprocity do it is really simple. Foxy got into New Blue, he Ash charged from below. Mark is going to be downed, actually, by, I think, a Zofia lifeline, and easily will finish him off. It seemed like the Zofia was using her lifelines to do some damage there. Maybe it was a nade from Shuttle as well. Could have been a lot. Yeah, lifelines expended. Shuttle could have been the culprit, though. No matter what the case is, that's a free kill there for Rogue, as Mark was trying his best to bandit trick, just couldn't get away with it.
And so, final charge going to be used here by Easily just to open up the rest of the garage, give them the room they need to push in. The rest of the team here is mainly Skies, going to be up against a lot of pressure relatively soon, as that garage pinch needs to be coming in from Rogue over these next few moments here. Besides that, Slash also going to investigate, see if he can fish anyone out, but definitely not going to get much from the angle right there. Shuttle will start to creep in, though. He's got both of his frag grenades still to try and use up here, but more than likely, there are going to be ADSs to block it. Actually, no. Sky's having to back up. Those are already dealt with, so both the nades will go off without a hitch. He stays alive, though, and almost gets an opportunity to fire back. Ooh, catches a player in the corner of his eye, tries to peek into it, does get the kill, and this is on top of Foxay also being able to find a Nitro Cell kill elsewhere on the map.
So, Reciprocity getting a solid position in this round, thanks to Skies and his excellent play on this catwalk. He should be dead. Rogue should have dealt with this problem a long time ago, considering the garage wall is open and the server wall is open. Garage wall even on both sides. Skies has no safe place, really, and I would have expected Rogue to be able to deal with this, but it's so far been a struggle for them, and we might even see them lose more players on the attempted garage clear. Though elsewhere, Laxing will go down to Eclipse, so that is another C4, or another potential C4, gone. Foxay playing an oil pit. He's trying to support Skies to the best of his ability by holding onto the staircase, which is allowing Skies to hold this breach with Retro. And with so little time, it's working out pretty well, but Skies finally goes down. Retro on a close angle, misses his shots, and will finally land a headshot onto Easily. Shotgun comes out, first blast missed, but the second will not. Foxay from below gets vertical, and Reciprocity will take another round in a row. That's 5 now.
Retro having to dance a little bit there at the end to make sure he didn't get taken down by the spray, but another great hold by Rec at the end of the day. Definitely came a bit close for comfort, but thankfully Skies' great hold on the inside of the garage catwalk along with the rest of the team being able to hold the site itself. They claim yet another round. Now 5 in a row at this point.
Yeah.
Looking to make it 7, I'm sure, but we'll see if they can run the full amount of rounds over these next few.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, with the way that these rounds have been playing out. We've been seeing the attacks from Rogue. How can I describe them? Timid, maybe, is the word. We saw both garage walls opened and the server wall opened, and the player on catwalk lived until 11 seconds in the round. That just cannot happen. I'm very surprised, and I think it's something that Rogue are going to have to really work on moving forward.
Dealt with like ADSs and things like that too, so normally under those situations it's very easy to just nade that player out or force that player in a position to deal with him with utility. So they didn't have to deal with that, but still had problems getting rid of Skies in that situation.
Yeah.
So a big miss there from Rogue, and it's odd because Rec doesn't even seem to be playing super aggressively here on defense. They seem to be playing into pretty normal setups here for the most part. But Rogue are still showing that timidness to commit in a lot of situations.
Yeah, Reciprocity have interestingly kind of slowed down the roll a little bit. Their pace has become a little bit more calculated, and I think it's working in their favor, to be honest. When I was first seeing that in the first 3 rounds, obviously Reciprocity were losing a lot of those, and I was thinking to myself, Reciprocity are playing a lot more safe than usual. That's strange. It's atypical for them. But since then, after they started to really figure out their opponent, is what seems like has happened. Once they figured out Rogue, I mean, it was 5 rounds in a row. How can you really argue with that?
Yeah, no, it really speaks for itself.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
So, Lowe's setting up on Jim. Now, this is going to be a figuratively, I guess, a low-hanging fruit, in a manner of speaking, for Rogue, as this is the easiest site to attack for most teams. Though it is still Clubhouse, and it is still a happy place for the defenders. Just not the most amazing hold.
A few more things you got to deal with on this one that are kind of out of your control in comparison to some of the other sites here.
Yeah.
So Rogue will look to try and take advantage upon those. As normal, though, things will start out relatively slow between these two teams. Like I'd been mentioning before, Rec, except for some extended actual setups, are not trying to get super aggressive here against Rogue, basically waiting for them to push their way in. And I think Rogue may be starting to catch on to this a little bit, but the opening seconds of this one are going to play out very similarly to Team Rec's attack, where we're going to start to see Rogue move into the garage first and, of course, deal with the roaming presence that is set up in the other site by Cash and CCTV.
Slash opening up some bullet holes here onto the cache doorway. Now, once that doorway is opened up, he can actually go back to those bullet holes and catch anyone peeking from Workshop in the complete advantage for the Habana. It seems like that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to use those to his edge. Yeah, there it is. So if anybody decides to peek him, it's a free pick for Slash. And if not, I guess his job is not to clear out cash, just to late flank it, which would make sense. Maybe he's just trying to catch someone on the rotation. If he does, I believe that would be Laxing, who is currently playing in cash with Foxay as support. So Laxing's going to have to stay here if he wants to survive. He's not going to be able to support his team as directly thanks to Slash's cut off there.
Mark also holding behind the invincible mattress right now, waiting for the pushes to come in from the windows. Won't be able to catch much at this point as, again, Rogue are sitting back, biding their time a bit more, taking angles that are safe for them, but of course catch their opponents if necessary.
An aggressive Zofia here. Skies uses a gas canister to try and push him back from the window, though. He's going to eat a lot of damage. Still has one gas canister, though, so as he's alive, he'll be able to use that and delay further.
Wants to commit to the inside again. You still have Mark holding the angle that is currently, upsetting against Sky a little bit here and bringing his HP down as low as it is, but he's safe, as you can see. Shuttle trying to respond to this, but can't find anything to work with. Retro, though, will be able to find Eclipse against the Thatcher push. So finally someone from Rogue does fall here. Again, you can see, though, Reciprocity just have a curtain set up, and they are not making it easy for Rogue to get past it. 2 more kills for them, only 1 throwing in for the guys on Rogue, leaving it all on Shuttle and Slash. 10 seconds left for them to play into. Laxing takes out Shuttle. We will see Slash be able to trade his first kill, but that is it. Rex shut it down again. 6 in a row for these guys. Only 1 more to go.
Jeez. I mean, first 3 rounds, I'm thinking to myself, ooh, this is going to be a close one. This is going to be a good one.
We got ourselves a game.
And we're at a 6-3. 6 in a row for Reciprocity, as you said. That just is it's very unusual. If it's going to happen on a map, I get why it would be Clubhouse. Winning those last 3 attacking rounds and then switching on to defense. Defense has been very nice for Reciprocity. I mean, they've won every single site now, and they're going to go back to their primary site, their comfort zone, which is the basement. But in all fairness, Rogue did also win their first 3 defenses, and then they started to lose. So maybe this is where we see the comeback and the 3 in a row for Rogue to get the draw. But one thing is certain. Rogue can no longer get 3 points out of this. And given their current position, that is a really bad result. They have right now 8 points, and they sit in 6th, right above the relegation positions. So if Rogue loses too many matches, they could see themselves getting relegated quite easily.
That's going to be other teams like TSM and Sonics that will try to take that position away from them, just out of in the kind of safe zone, as you would call it, and try to knock Rogue into potential relegation position.
I guess I should rephrase my wording there. Not relegated as much as in relegations.
Yeah.
Potentially relegated. Depends on what happens from those top teams coming out of North American Challenge League whenever that comes to a conclusion.
Well, once again, we've got our attacking team spawning in just a second. Rogue are now out onto the board. Finally time for them to see how the adjustments that they may have called earlier on in the matchup will shape up in the rounds themselves. This is the first repeat defensive site from Reciprocity on their defense.
And again, on the best site they could have asked for. The basement, Clubhouse, they're in their happy place. So, the C4 caught by Vertical. Incredible reactions, and I can't believe he's not dead right now.
Vertical had to take a moment to pause right there, as you can see, trying to figure out what exactly just happened to him and whether he was alive or not. But indeed, he survives that very scary situation. And all 10 players are going to remain at 100 HP.
I have not seen that C4 before, and oh man, I expect to see it more in ranked moving forward. Not everybody is going to be able to catch a C4 like Vertical just did.
Nice play from Vert, though. Very heads-up play, indeed. So props to Vert for that one. Now we need to see it carry through into the round itself, though, as that's a big piece of utility going for naught on Rack, although it was a very nice attempt to catch someone. Once again, Pulse in play, though, on Mark. He'll be sitting behind Church in order to try and scan players out from that position and potentially allow for some more fun to be had with those Nitro cells.
Clips using that EMP to get rid of one of the Electro Claws. Reciprocity not shy of bringing the Kaid. We saw Rogue bring Kaid a little bit, just not a whole lot on the defensive half, and actually could have been useful for them many rounds. But here, it's Reciprocity's turn, and they will lean into that. Oh, potential opportunity for somebody to kill the Legion there, as he was exposed to the bottom main stairs, but he's not on the angle anymore, obviously. That was a moment that could have defined the round, but Rogue didn't have anybody in a spot to get that kill. And actually, the barricade might still be up, and that might have been why... No, it's gone at this point. So not why he was playing so exposed. Maybe Legion just not aware. C4 also wasted there on the church wall, so a misplaced one 2 times now will mean that Reciprocity doesn't have any C4 in all likelihood. Or maybe potentially just one, but I doubt it.
Well, the 1-minute warning has now gone out here for Rogue. You need to start finally taking some control of the sites. And as you can see, Rec have almost a box formation set up here to try and hold them in position. Slash, though, strikes first with a good entry against Mark that'll start to open up the church for the push. A lot of other players in position, but Skies also is going to get caught trying to transition behind the dining room table. 3 players left standing here for Rec, going up against the full roster from Rogue. And with 30 seconds left here, Rec trying to play it into this. Foxay is going to have to open up another wall for him to actually be able to stop this plant should they go through with it. And as well, you can also see their Legion trying to peek into that main hallway. Vert, though, will continue to frag out here. Finds Retro next, taking him out of the fight. The remaining players, unfortunately, can't play too aggressively into this. Their only hope is to delay this until we end up at 0-time situation. Foxay will catch easily on the drop down. Oh, as well, hip fires into a second kill, but ends up taking down Shuttle. The plant will definitely go down because Foxay was pushed out of position, but now they've got a chance for a retake as it's been brought down to a 2v3. So we're going to see Foxay continues the push in. He's probably not going to check this player on the far left side, though. He's trying to hunt for a player sitting behind Bar instead. Laxing in the meanwhile, also looking for something, but Rogue have taken very safe post-plant positions. Oh! Foxay! Again, another one, a quick scope in to try and take out Eclipse, and it gets the job done. Now into a 2v2, halfway through the timer, though, and finally Foxay is going to fall, and as well, Laxing will be taken out just right after that. Reciprocity coming very close to being able to clutch it out, but not this time. Rogue finally get themselves on the board on this attacking side.
If I'm not mistaken, that's another 4K for Slashug. So really impressive work for him. He got the 2 entries. He got the 2 on the last. Didn't see if he got the 5th. I doubt it. But an impressive round for him. Still match point for Reciprocity. What a nice try there for them. And they'll get to go wherever they want. This time, it looks like it'll be a church again. Right this second, we're looking at the same exact scoreline for Reciprocity in the second half as we had for Rogue in the first half.
Yeah, I was about to say, Team Rec, the big advantage they would have of having this lead right now is being able to potentially experiment with other sites if this initial basement play doesn't go that well. But again, with how close it was, I think that they're thinking to themselves right now that they can easily patch up the mistakes that were made throughout that first attempt and close it out right here on attempt number 2. So let's see if they can get it done.
It's certainly possible. Look at that. Foxay and Slash really want to take this one here. Slash, of course, only fighting for a draw at this point, but Reciprocity find themselves in a better spot than Rogue, of course. One position above them in 5th with 13 points. If Reciprocity win here, the odds of Rogue catching up to Reciprocity are very slim, which leaves Rogue stuck, stranded in a position where, yeah, okay, they're not in relegations, but they're not going to get anywhere else in all likelihood. So this win would be very substantial for Reciprocity. Put them at 16 points, and Rogue would stay at 8.
So let's see, guys, as once again, we've got Rogue out onto the table, ready to attack this basement site. It's time to see if they can do it once more. A nice push from the inside of Memorial, along with being able to control areas just at the bottom of the main stairs, gave Rogue the control they needed to be able to get that plant onto the ground and close out.
It was also the fact that they opened up Church. We haven't been seeing Church get opened up very much, and it was the Habana holes that allowed Slash to force the defenders to be in really bad spots. And he got 2 entries there going into Church, right? Well, that's thanks to those Habana holes. So a lot of work being done by Slash on the Habana individually, and not only in terms of utility play, but also in terms of fragging power.
Rec oftentimes attempting some similar play from them, but they found a lot more success to be made inside of the Arsenal push that worked out really well for them, mainly because, again, we didn't have those walls reinforced. So it could still hold the same positions and kind of push from the main stairs, but without having to knock down a reinforced wall.
Clip's going to spot somebody crossing in the hallway. This barricade, very important for Reciprocity. You know, it's honestly, to me, a little bit surprising that it's a regular barricade. They didn't decide to bring a castle. But obviously feel they need every operator they've got, and that I can also agree with. But this barricade is something that Reciprocity are hinging on a lot as they continue to cross the hallway, play exposed to the hallway. As soon as this barricade's open, they can't do any of that, and their options dwindle in terms of anchor play. EMP is being used to try and ensure that the drop-down gets opened up, just in case there's an Electroclaw. There is one pre-placed on Blue, and it looks like there's also one in the pocket of Foxay. So he can deny Blue outright if there's not enough EMPs. Eclipse used one that I know of. Let's see if he's used more. No. Okay, so that's the second. First Electric Hawk on. Oh, Foxay's not there. He's not going to be able to stop this. Bad timing from Foxay. It looks like he wanted to, but he moved somewhere else. Might be able to deny the kitchen drop if it hasn't been opened up. But so far, it's been a decent denial game from Reciprocity. And yeah, they're going to keep that ball rolling, it seems, with one Electric Hawk still in play. Last EMP having just been used.
Yeah, Foxay definitely putting a heavy focus on making sure you can deny that kitchen hatch drop in. Obviously, with you play into Arsenal, having that hatch open gives you just far more room to work with. The hatch that they just got open only gives you kind of a staging ground, doesn't necessarily give you full access to the site. So this one has a lot more importance for him to try and hold on to. A lot of trick work being done by Skies right now, and as far as I can tell, it's all successful. Yes, no openings on that wall this time around here. Slash and Skies will trade blows. Mark also finds one with a Nitro Cell against Shuttle, however. So this time it's Rec that win the initial gunfight and give themselves a 4v3 advantage to follow this through. You've got players like the Zofia vertical in position above that blue hatch to try and move it, but this is what I talked about before. The hatch doesn't give you full access to the site. Great opportunity for Vert, but he only knocks off half the HP from Retro. So low now. The second one I thought he was dead for sure, but no. Still a sliver of HP remaining here. Easy's going to push into it, and Retro still ends up winning the fight. Gets a second kill, and Laxing to shut down the match. Reciprocity take down Rogue and claim victory in our opening match of the day.
What a great match there from Reciprocity, and a final round that was, I think, a lot closer than I would have expected based on the last round's results. Reciprocity, first of all, managed to deny the hard breaching, which you mentioned, which was huge for them. The fact that Church Wall remained intact and it was a Church take, absolutely tremendous. Great job done by Reciprocity. Retro also staying alive inside of blue. He left himself exposed, honestly, 3 separate times, but every single time Vertical could not capitalize, could not get the kill. At the end there, Retro had a sliver of HP. He would have died to anything. And he just didn't.
It's a double kill, in fact.
Yeah, he got a double kill right at the end. So it's the Church Wall and it's Retro holding true in their positions, thanks to the Bandit and the Kaid on the Church Wall, and just a great hold in the last round for Reciprocity to take the win.
Away from that specific round right there as well, big credit to Foxay, I think, going back to the attacking side as well. He had some really heads-up play in multiple rounds. There was that really smart push he had going to the inside of Cash, which wasn't able to leverage a double kill from, but you could appreciate the philosophy that he has going behind something like that, as well as a couple of just really smart entry plays from him taking the position and also being a quintessential part of those 2 successful basement pushes at the end of the first half. Yeah.
Overall, it seemed like Reciprocity, after the first 3 rounds, they had well figured out their opponent. That's the big thing I'm picking up on. Is it seems like they really understood what they were getting themselves into. The first 3 rounds, Rogue were in a great spot. Their strategies were working out, but there wasn't a whole lot of change brought out by Rogue, further in the match. They didn't adapt a whole lot. Whereas I saw on Reciprocity's side a whole bunch of just, hey, we have a problem here, let's bring the tool that's going to fix that problem, which is, it's a big difference to have, and it allowed Reciprocity to not only recover after the first 3 rounds, but also recover after they lost one in the second half.
Yep, very much so. Great stuff from Reciprocity, and that's going to be a huge win for them, a very much deserved one as well. After the 7th or 3-7 loss they had on the last play, that's certainly going to be a big boost of confidence, I think, for them.
All right, so we've got an interview with Foxay, and we'll bring it up right now. And hey, Fox, how's it going?
Hey, I'm pretty good, Kix. How are you?
I am just swell. Thanks for asking. So your first win in the second half over Rogue, a pretty good one too, 7-4. That's solid stats. I mean, is that going to be what you're looking for moving forward? Of course. I mean, it's not been a great start to the second half so far.
Yeah, I mean, of course we hope that a lot of our issues going into this next half of the season would have been solved just by practice, but it didn't due to the first week. So we ended up trying to do a lot of different things. As you can see, people are on different roles doing different stuff. And we found success here. We've been finding success in scrims, and now it's just about the consistency part, which is always the issue with most teams. So now it's just about getting into it and keeping it there.
Yeah, I'm definitely noticing slightly different roles, but one thing that I picked up on that I think is really strong for you guys, especially in this match against Rogue just now, is actually that you guys were changing your strategy ever so slightly, bringing the right tools for the job, trying to do everything to counter your opponent. It was very calculated. It was very coordinated as well. Is that something that you guys have been practicing a little bit more as of late? Because we saw a whole bunch of it from you throughout this, and a lot of recovery rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I guess back in the day when we were, just turning into Reciprocity, we were really fluid. We really played everything. I feel like we got into a pattern where we felt like we need certain ops when one of our strong suits is our aim. And we just felt that we should be able to play off that. It doesn't matter what operator we need. We just need to fill the gaps. And also, one of the reasons is, ever since we started playing Ashe and opening up our abilities, we're a team that pretty much never plays Ashe just because, I mean, we all hate it. It's like the easiest role in the game. So no one wants to play that. But, you know, I took one for the team. Skies told me to do it. You know, Skies is our new IGL now, which we're trying to transition to. So just with that, we've been trying to play a lot more fluid and flexible. So, yeah.
It seems like he's been making a lot of the right calls, and yeah, a lot of your plays on Ashe, actually, we had a couple moments where you were saving those rounds, so I think that's the right call as well. So good on you guys for making that calculation. Now, overall, you don't have a lot of chance to be making it to Japan at this point. Coming into the day, you had about an 8% chance of making it, so it's possible, but what is the goal right now for you guys as a whole? Are you gunning for it? You know, after that win, your percentage is going to go up. But is that what you would hope for, or are you just trying to maintain position right now?
I mean, of course, you know, going from second to losing 2 games is rough. I still think, I mean, the season, like, you know, seasons always change. I still think there's definitely a good chance at any of the top, like, 4 or 5, I'd say the top 4 teams making it. I think, like, DZ's for sure going to make it, but it's really a battle for second place, in my opinion. But yeah, who knows? I mean, like, you know, there's been plenty of times where certain teams have had a huge lead and then they just end up falling down in the second half of the season. So,
and don't forget
right now it's just about...
Don't forget about FaZe's run as well in LATAM, bringing it back. Yeah, so it's totally possible.
Exactly. So right now it's just about consistency and keeping it there. And yeah, we're hoping to make Japan because who wouldn't want to go? But
of course. All right. Well, anything to say to your fans or anybody watching right now before we close out this interview?
Shout out to Kid Stick. He's like our only fan on Twitch. Stick's the GOAT. But anyway, thank you guys for all the fans. I know it's been like a rough ride seeing us lose, especially when we have all the tools to be a great team. So we're trying our best. And, you know, I think Milosh put it best. You know, we're lazy NA. We just need to get back into it. We need to sell all our cars, sell all our shoes. We just got to focus on the game. So
okay,
yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Fox. Good job.
Thank you.